The federal government of Nigeria says that security agencies will go after all POS operators who fail to comply with the directive to register with the Corporate Affairs Commission after July 7, 2024. To make it easier for all POS operators, a 24-hour service center has been set up in the Federal Capital Territory to help prospective applicants get a prompt response to inquiries and approvals. The government had, through the Commission on Monday, issued a 2-month registration deadline for POS operators to register as corporate bodies with the CAC in line with the legal requirements and directives of the Central Bank of Nigeria.
The federal government says its action is supported by Section 863, subsection 1 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act, CAMA 2020, and the 2013 CBN guidelines on agent banking with aim to safeguard businesses and strengthen the economy. The mandatory move, according to the federal government, will reduce the spate of kidnappings and help security agencies arrest recipients of ransom payments from kidnapped victims. Now, of course, the big question is how are POS operators taking this deadline, this 2-month deadline, which arguably is being pretty, seen as short. Has there been an increase in the registration of POS businesses? News Central's Obi Chinasa Gloria spoke with some POS operators to find out. Let's quickly see what they have to say.
I go talk, we say, make the Nigeria government, make them know as they go take airports, because now this POS, most of us, they take feed our family. We get children for us, we get bills to settle at home. So far, we don't register this our POS with our BVN in the bank. I don't think there's another, maybe they are going to, maybe there's scam on it. So far, our BVN, our N9 is registered with our POS. So I don't know if the government can look into it.
I've not registered yet. My opinion about the CAC is that I've linked my N9, I've linked my BVN. But they are not supposed to let us to register for another CAC, because with BVN and N9 they can trace any transaction on it. Because me registering for CAC is another money. The money to do the business is a small money. So for me to bring out another 25,000, 30,000 is a huge money. So with BVN and NIN, you can trace the transaction on the POS.
It's very good, it's my own opinion. But talking about the payment is what I'm concerned about, Why should we pay again? Because this Nigeria now, we all know how things are going. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm just like, after the payments, why should we pay again? They should just try and consider us. The government should try and put us in their shoes. We are all struggling to make, and we pray to God that we should all make it.
Joining us to discuss this is Mr. Patrick Atuanya, publisher, Money Central Media. Good morning, Mr. Atuanya. Thank you very much for joining us. I believe that you saw the video. Good morning. I believe you've seen the video of a number of POS operators reacting to this, and I want you to react to their reaction. A number of them have said that if the real reason which the CBN has given is that, of course, it's to fight insecurity, that the banks can actually trace the identities of each POS operator because each device is linked to the BVN and the NIN, and then this would just cost further payment of money at the CAC, seeing exactly how things are, very difficult at this time. So would you say that that's a very valid argument by the POS operators?
Yeah, the argument put forward by the government is not really realistic, right? So you have this situation where you have multiple points of documentation for anything you're doing in Nigeria. You have your driving license, then you have your national ID, then you have your international, you have your NIN, then you have your BVN. The POS operators are the kind of the last mile to help with financial inclusion in the country. And if you notice something from your video, a lot of the operators are ladies, right? They're women. And, though a lot of them are also like breadwinners or helping out with a huge chunk of the household in terms of making money for their households. So I think the government should, backtrack on this. We have so many points of documentation, from BVN and NIN, that you can actually track anybody you want to in the country. And if you look at it, a lot of Nigerians, when they go to their banks, they usually anymore. So the POS is really what a lot of Nigerians used to, from their banks, and they are also providing a very good service.
Yeah, I mean, I get the argument. Yeah, I'll let you go on. I just wanted to mention, I get the argument, with regards, why this, might be extra stress. But I want you to speak on why we have these POS operators in the first place. Is it because, the banking institutions generally have failed to be able to provide that service, which of course they should provide, because it doesn't make any sense that there's ATMs supposedly spread across the country that don't have cash, but the POS operator who's just down the road has cash. So, would you blame the banking system generally, or is this simply just, something that was, inevitable?
Okay, the idea, if you remember, if you go Sanusi, the former central bank governor, right, who kind of pushed the proliferation in the country. The idea was really to complement the banking system, right, to be a increase financial inclusion and just help people that are to be able to access banking services. Have kind of outsourced their own to the POS operators, right? Because most banks outside of business districts of all the major cities in the country, right? So somewhere like Lagos, outside of BI and maybe Ikoyi and
yeah, we seem to be struggling with the connection, so your sound is breaking. I'm not sure if it's something that we can fix with the connection from you, but
okay.
I mean, if could we just quickly wrap up your thoughts?
Yeah. Okay, so I was saying that outside of the CBDs of the major cities, you don't really see ATMs with cash, and the POS guys are the ones providing the services. So I think it's a problem because the banks, or rather, I would think I would kind of blame the banks more because they've kind of abdicated their responsibility in terms of making sure their ATMs are funded. But going back to the main issue, I think the government should tread a little bit carefully with this because this is really what a lot of Nigerians depend on. And when you go to the rural areas where there are really no banks, there are many rural areas in Nigeria where you won't find any bank branch. The POS agents are the only ones that are providing the service.
Yeah. Okay, let's look at what this might mean. We know that after the Central Bank of Nigeria launched the agent banking system in 2013, we've seen that the point of sales, that's of course the POS industry, has started to grow. And like you've mentioned, one of the key reasons for them setting up these agents is to ensure that we include the unbanked. I mean, there's been reports of how, they wanted to include the unbanked in such a short time with bringing trillions of naira, to those who are not financially accessible. And we've seen it. We've seen the growth and how people in villages and rural areas who were previously financially excluded now have access to, banking services. So if this still holds with the complaints a number of these POS operators are, expressing, they're having to deal with inflation, they're having to deal with high cost of living, with the, increased price in petrol and all the many taxes that they're currently having to battle. What picture do you think this paints for, that sector in the nearest future?
Well, I think the sector they don't need more regulation. I think they've done quite well for themselves, and apart from when you had the cashless policy period, when the charges were so astronomical, I think Nigerians are generally happy with the POS operators. They provide them cash on demand, which is what Nigerians want, right? To be able to facilitate transactions in the economy. So government should, make the sector more, make it more attractive for the POS operators, so that they can reduce charges, right? Charges on transactions, and also for the Nigerians that are patronizing them. Layer on more harder cost of doing business for them, and also that will trickle down to financial inclusion in the economy. The Corporate Affairs Commission should tread lightly on this. Extend the deadline. 2 months does not seem like it's feasible.
Yeah. All right. Mr. Atuanya,
millions of POS operators across the country.
Yeah, we'll have to wrap up the conversation here. I apologize. The sound wasn't, at its very best. But thank you very much. It's definitely a developing story. We'll see how the next couple of days, turns out. If it's going to be a reversal, or maybe an extension of the time, or maybe a cancellation of the whole idea of a CAC registration. Thanks for speaking with us. We'll catch up with you soon.
Thank you so much.
All right. And,